Hey everybody, welcome to Jacob's Quest, and today I just want to talk real quick about some of the news in quotes that dropped last night about Dave Filoni getting a brand new role. He got a promotion as executive creative director over at Lucasfilm. He is now one of three of that title. And basically what happened is that someone somewhere on some website, I think, noticed that, oh hey, the Lucasfilm website now says he's got a new title. And so of course that spread like wildfire all over Reddit and Twitter, and everyone started talking about like, you know, you have your extreme cases of people like, oh, Kathleen Kennedy is gone, this is the first step of her being fired, and the internal civil war in Lucasfilm. It's, you know, a bunch of nonsense of course started coming up right away. But you know, stay within the realm of reality here for a second. This is a good thing. This is a pretty cool thing. You know, look, Dave Filoni has for years now had creative input with the movies and the story group and all kinds of different things. He has had a very you know, creative role over there, and this is basically just letting him still do that, but now with even more importance, you know, with even more influence on the way that things play out on the creative side. And that's basically all this really is. And we'll talk about more about his little Filoni verse in a second. But yeah, so this news came out, and of course a bunch of nonsense happened, but let's talk about what's really going on here. So last summer, Lucasfilm quietly promoted the executive producer and frequent writer and director of The Mandalorian to executive creative director for the entire studio, rep confirms with Variety. But the company didn't update its website with Filoni's new title until this week, which is when it began to percolate and then explode across Reddit and Twitter as if the promotion had just happened. So to be fair, no one had really any way of knowing that he had actually gotten a new title. There are always whispers out there by different sources saying like, oh, he's gotten more power, this and that, but sometimes it's hard to differentiate between like what might have actually happened and a lot of the YouTuber clickbait nonsense. So in any case, it looks like, yes, since last summer he has gotten a new title. A lot of people sending them praises all over Twitter. So, you know, and then they basically just talk about how, like, you know, he's the apprentice, the Padawan of George Lucas, which of course is very true. You know, look, George Lucas is retired. He's never gonna come back and consult, at least not heavily, on any kind of creative side of anything. He'll visit a set of something every once in a while, but he's you know, he's happy. Leave him alone. He's fine. He's not coming back. So all you conspiracy people out there saying George Lucas is somehow going to take over again, stop. Leave the man alone. But you know, Dave Filoni is the closest thing we'll probably ever get to having a George, I don't know, a George influence on the set of things. You know, someone who like would be able to at least somewhat mimic what George might have done across different situations. Dave Filoni is basically the closest that we have for that, so that's pretty cool. I'm glad he has more creative influence over things. But we did learn about something kind of interesting here. So this is a kind of another side topic to the whole Filoni verse and basically why he's getting his thing. But let's go ahead and talk about this for a second. So in December, Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy announced that Filoni and Favreau are executive producing several Mandalorian spin-offs for Disney Plus, including The Book of Boba Fett, which is currently shooting and premiering in December, and Ahsoka, starring Rosario Dawson and based on the character Filoni created in the Clone Wars. A third announced spin-off, Rangers of the New Republic, is not currently in active development. So this right here, it's a little notation, and a lot of these trades kind of put in tiny bits of information that may or may not be significant in the middle of other articles. So this is interesting because of course we know that you know, what's her name, look, it was a huge drama. She Gina Carano, she was not fired, she was not let go, her contract was simply not renewed, which I guess is just another way of doing that. But in any case, the report came out afterwards that she and, you know, her character was supposed to be the central character for Rangers of the New Republic, and As far back as December or even October, she was just being a problem behind the scenes, and so they never announced that she was going to be that character. That was her show, essentially. And so they announced the show, they didn't say anything about her character, and then all the drama played out. And so this has always been like a big question mark of like, so what do you do with this show now? Do you give it to a new character? Do you just entirely rework it? Or is it just canceled? Is it just not going to happen now? So look, it not being in current active development, to me what that says, or at least what I'm translating that as, is that they're not working on concept art, they're not working on storyboards, they're not working on like location, like trying to find locations to film things. Obviously they have the volume, so maybe they don't need to do that, but they're not trying to cast people, they're not doing any of this stuff. Active development would mean that they are writing the scripts and they're doing, like the pre-production process would have begun, and it doesn't seem that that's happened yet. Now, is it possible that like, oh yeah, it's just gonna happen in a few months? Like, yeah, of course that's possible, but this could also be the indication that this is the one being let go, because they announced like 8-9 shows, and I kind of got the feeling that not all of these are coming out. There's no way. When a company announces so many things, there's usually some changes. This happened with Marvel. If you remember, there was supposed to be an Inhumans movie, and that never happened. So I would be willing to believe that this is the show that is being let go. It makes the most sense, and there's obviously a reason why. Look, things didn't work out. So Rangers of the New Republic might not be a thing. But in any case, we'll move on to this whole Filoniverse thing here. Kennedy has also said these spin-offs, which all take place within the same timeline, which, by the way, when this verbiage was used, all in the same timeline, I think what they mean is all take place in the same time, in the same point of the timeline, like not literally a separate timeline. Will ultimately culminate in a storytelling event. Filoni's title as executive creative director captures the complicated role of overseeing both individual series and a larger storyline that weaves together several shows. Given Filoni's galaxy-sized Star Wars expertise, he's also been known to weigh in on other Star Wars projects outside of his direct purview. So, basically they're saying what I had said earlier, how like he's had input in movies and in the story group and stuff like that in the past. He now essentially just has even more influence over that stuff. But yeah, I think this title was basically given to him so that he can, more easily kind of control the roadmap of this Filoniverse, because you have all these shows coming back together and they're going to do this big crossover storytelling event that is essentially their Avengers. It's essentially going to be their Avengers moment. Maybe it'll be a movie, maybe it'll just be another show where it's like a crossover show, who knows, right? But that's basically why he's been given this position, is that way he can, whoever's directing and producing all these other shows, he can kind of have an overhead view of all of it and kind of say, okay guys, we all need to go this direction, and this is how it's all going to work out, and this needs to happen over here, and that's how it's all going to interconnect into this one big event. So that's basically his job. That's basically what he's working on right now, and obviously he's going to have input elsewhere, as he has. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm glad that that's what's happening, and it makes sense that he's had this position since last summer, before they announced all of those shows. So this has been something that's been being planned behind the scenes, of like, this is the Filoniverse. So yes, the Filoniverse is real. This is what he's working on, this is what he's doing, and that's basically his project. This is his section of Lucasfilm, is these Disney Plus shows and this interconnected universe that they're making between them, and he's overseeing that, and that's pretty cool. So here's the last thing. There is another reason that some Star Wars fans rejoiced at the news of Filoni's title of executive creative director. Kennedy remains a lightning rod for a certain subset of the fandom, and predictions that she is leaving Lucasfilm have become so common they are practically white noise. But as other fans have also noted on Twitter, Kennedy is the one who gave Filoni his promotion, and Disney leadership has given no indication that Kennedy will be leaving her post anytime soon. Yeah, that's, like I said, people, of course, on the internet, you know the usual suspects. They're gonna make their clickbait videos. They're gonna have Kathleen Kennedy with laser eyes for some reason, and it's gonna have giant letters like Kennedy's being replaced, or Kennedy's out, or Dave Filoni's the new president of Lucasfilm. It's gonna be the exact same thing, and for some reason those videos will get 60,000 clicks, because that's what they're doing. They're working the algorithm. It's all a bunch of bullshit, but that's how it is. Look, if the internet has taught me anything, it's like you can't cure stupidity. All you can do is make fun of them, and that's it, really. You can't do anything about it. There's no educating 60,000 people who will believe nonsense for no reason. Anyways, Filoni's new position was seen as one of many promotions that are announced internally but not made publicly, and it appears the company was caught off guard by the enthusiastic response to a standard, if overdue, update to its website. At one point on Thursday, the site was temporarily unavailable. It's also another reminder that with Star Wars fans, it's do or do not, there is no try. So yeah, just basically, this was something that happened over the summer. He's had this job for a while. He's building his own Filoniverse, and all they did was update the website finally. Why did they wait so long to update the website? I don't know. Maybe they were trying to not make it this huge deal because they know how clickbaity and full of bullshit the internet can be, and they were like, look, we're gonna give him a promotion, but everyone's gonna go stupid crazy with it and think that it means this and that and the other thing, when it's really just him. He needs more influence to build the Filoniverse. That's really all it is. But okay, in any case, we can go over here to the leadership page of Lucasfilm, the website, and we can see now how Kathleen Kennedy's here, and here's the executive vice president, and look, there's Dave Filoni with his brand new title. And you can just kind of scroll through this, and if you click on each of these names, you can actually see who does what. Like, let's go ahead and click on this person. This is animation production vice president, and you kind of get a little history of what their job is. So basically, if you ever have a question of who does what, and if you ever want to get an idea of like, hey, what if Kathleen Kennedy were to retire within the next several years, which of course one day she will. Everyone retires eventually, right? Who would take over her position? I suppose it would probably be this person, the executive vice president and general manager. It would probably be her, I imagine. Who knows? That's up to Disney, really. But in any case, you can check out that website there. And actually, here, let's go ahead and take a look at Dave's thing. I don't think anything's really changed here other than his little label here, so it says that now, but I think everything else is pretty much stayed the same. So yeah, that's basically the story. It's a thing that's been that way for a while. The internet just now found out about it, and yeah, the Filoniverse is for real. Like, that is essentially why he's been given this position, and also obviously because he deserves it. I think, like I said, I want him to have more influence, just like everyone does, because I think more often than not he makes the right call. And so if he can have more of a say in the creative process of things and how things are formed, that's a good thing. It is, so just, don't believe everything you hear on the internet about if someone claims to have a source about who's getting fired and what executives are fighting with other executives and directors and producers and all this stuff, those people are probably not telling you the truth. Anyways, all right, so let me know what you guys think about this. Let me know what you guys think about the Filoniverse and all this other stuff that's happening, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.